Hello, my name is Christopher Schrauf. I'm a senior solution architect here at CyberProof. Today, I want to show you our innovative CDC platform that we are utilizing to provide you with a continuous threat exposure management framework, in short, CTEM, alongside the Microsoft security stack. CyberProof is a proud member of the Microsoft Intelligent Security Association. And with that, I will run you through this platform. Our three pillars for continuous threat exposure management are understanding the threats which are most applicable to you, defenses, how good your defense surface is, and how well are your tools, especially also in the Microsoft stack, are configured. And lastly, vulnerabilities. Which vulnerabilities are most likely targeting you and how are they associated with active threats and campaigns, which current vulnerability scanners not providing. Let's start with threats. To understand which threats are applicable to you, we generate a threat profile. In this threat profile, we take into consideration the industry you are in, the size of your company, and the countries that you are operating. Here also, multiple threat profiles are applicable. And most importantly, data sets. Data sets are mapped to the MITRE and STIX taxi framework, which is very important to understand which threat actors are active and gathering and trying to steal these data sets. As well, what we are doing is we understand your platform prevalence. For example, if you have no Linux, you don't need to be concerned about Linux threats. That's just an example. With that, we get an overview over active campaigns by threat actors targeting your sector, your industry vector, and are applicable for you, as well as threat groups that are most likely targeting you with also a prioritization. That correlation helps us later to understand techniques. Which techniques from the MITRE attack framework are most likely used by these attackers and how often are these used by these threat groups? What we are seeing then is a visibility, how well you are protected against this technique and where you are missing detections. How we do that? That's our second pillar. We understand your defenses and we want to close these gaps. With that, we utilize one-directional API integrations, which I will show you here in the defense surface tab. These integrations are mostly API-based, and we see here we have integrations into Microsoft Defender for Endpoint, the Microsoft Graph API, here in particular the threat intelligence, and Microsoft Sentinel. Also, we can correlate Azure AD to understand which users are utilizing these assets. With that, we can drive into the visibility of these techniques. With that, let's pick a technique where we are particularly weak, for example, valid accounts, and let's dive into this. We see here immediately for valid accounts, we have lacking visibility. We are missing logon session metadata. We get information how to get this data, probably by adding an event type or a data source into our Microsoft Sentinel. We also get disabled detection. This is very powerful because detections, especially in EDRs, are not transparently shown to us. And other than that, we also get potential other reference detections in Sentinel and other solutions that we have deployed in our infrastructure to prevent these technique valid accounts from happening. With that, we have our second pillar, our defenses. Now let's go to the last pillar, vulnerabilities. What's extremely hard for security practitioners is how to prioritize vulnerabilities. What we bring together is the CVUS score that we pull through the vulnerability scanning solution via API, but we also utilizing the EPSS score to show the prevalence of vulnerabilities. Vulnerabilities that are utilized in active campaigns are immediately flagged as exploitable. And what you can see here, interestingly, very often vulnerabilities with not the highest CVS scores are actually used by the most campaigns by the threat actors that are targeting you. So this is very powerful. What the tool is doing, and this is something that we discover across all industries and clients that we are having, and security practitioners struggle with that, and I speak out of my own experience, is to get a consolidated asset list from all your assets that are out there. Our tool helps to provide you with that list, and we do that by correlating data from the CM everything that is flagged by a host name from the vulnerability scanner, from the EDR, and understand and correlate these, deduplicate these, and pull them into this list for exposure prioritization. We understand now what vulnerabilities are on the systems, which vulnerabilities are critical and most likely to be exploitable. And we understand with integrations into Azure AD as well, who is owning this solution and who we need to contact. Tags are very powerful here. We can utilize tags that the vulnerability scanner or any other solution like Azure AD uses as tags, and for example, understand which endpoints are golden nuggets in your environment. So this is our approach to help you with continuous threat exposure management. We can generate here very powerful exports. We can understand your defensive surface much better with integrations. We understand which attackers are most likely targeting you and give you your overview of software that is installed in your system, as well as a MITRE ATT&CK framework that is the baseline of our continuous threat exposure management. With the integration of a generative AI, we enable not only analysts, but CISOs and everyone utilizing this platform to understand what are my top threats, how likely are they targeting me, and what I'm missing to prevent or to stabilize my defenses to prevent myself from getting attacked by these attackers. Powerful is the overall exposure score and score trend. In the beginning of engagement with CyberProof, usually this is very high. With our use case management framework and our experts on the Microsoft stack, we usually bring this down within months and can then very swiftly react to new threats coming out and showing here in this prioritized technique content overview. Thank you for listening in and have a good day. Bye bye.